Hi friends, and welcome back to another episode of Real Housewives of Moto. It is episode 22. We're very excited about this because there's a lot to talk about with the number 22. We're going to talk about Chad Reed. We're going to talk about Jalek Swoll, which I don't know how I missed that memo. Maybe because Jalek has missed so much time, but like Freddie Norton was 22 for a hot minute, which I thought was weird. But now Jalek Swoll being 22 is real weird to me. Is it weird to you, Katie?
It is. Yeah, it's different. It's always weird when like, a legend, and then someone else comes and takes their number. It just looks weird. It looks weird.
It does. And I don't know if it's like maybe because I'm coming from club and obviously like all of them run 22. Tate runs it. Kaya runs it. I'm sure Pace is on a bike now. They posted. I'm sure Pace is 22 as well. So yeah, my brain is just like, no, 22 is Chad, period.
Yeah, that should have been a retired number.
Yeah, I don't know how it's not. I don't know. I think that's a really interesting thing we should do an episode on. But like, there's all these rules around like how long you get to keep your number and like how many times you have to race while you keep your number. Because there for a while, my boy Brock Tickle, he had 20 for like forever because he would race like one race, because he's test riding for Cowie. So he's a freak of nature. But he had 20 forever. Like I was like, when are you going to give this up? So we should do an episode on like the rules around numbers. I know our boy DB is like the number tracker. So we're very excited that like Garrett Marchbanks, Sex Caveman, we're going to get there too. He's like tracking to be number 10. And like, I love me some 10 because I love JB, I love Justin Brayton, but I'm like, I could get behind that. And then, J Mart, he's got to give up 6 next year. So we could have a 6. I guess that would be on the 2027 grid. You could have a 6. So whoever is killing it next year and you're up for a national number, you could have 6, which is crazy. And I would assume that 5's up for grabs too. Like surely Dungy's not holding on to that, but
yeah, no one is 5, huh?
I know. And 8, like nobody wants to take 8. I don't know what it is. This episode is not about numbers.
I feel like I haven't seen 8 in forever.
Yeah. And I think 8 is cool. So yeah, we should dive into that, like number theory and all that. But we're gonna talk a little Washougal today because I finally got our episode up from last week. Which, oh my gosh, I had a heart attack. I texted you. I was like, I don't know what I did. I broke it. I don't know what happened with the file, but we got it back. I posted it. It just posted. So got to edit our club chat about my time at club, and I'm still working on Nicole's. So that is TBD. So now that we're on the other side of Washougal, and I was just listening to us like talking about it, how do we feel overall? Because I felt like the anxiety was high going into Washougal for a number of things, Eli included. But how are you feeling on the other side of Washougal?
I feel relieved.
Relief is the word.
I was so nervous. I was texting you and I was talking to Faith and I was just a nervous wreck that whole morning. I was in San Diego. Derek had a work trip. So
Beautiful.
I was at a nice hotel for free. I was out by the pool. And while I was watching everything, I would read a page of my book, put it down and then look. Cause like, I was just so nervous.
I don't know how you do that. Like I like my brain, I already struggle with like, I love reading, but I already struggle with like retaining books, retaining words. But my anxiety would have been so high. Like it was high, and I don't think I could have done that. So kudos to you.
It was such a fun press day too, because Steve Mathis and Jason Thomas did that whole shot challenge. They had the bow and arrows with Cameron Haynes, with Sexy Caveman and Eli. Like we got a 2-for-1 deal right there.
3 for 1, arguably.
Yeah, Cameron Haynes is hot. He's cute.
He is like
he's like that shaggy, cavey, like.
Katie, I love that. I posted something that was like, if there was a zombie apocalypse, like who would you run to and like why is it Cortez? And I'm like, okay, we could put Garrett on there. I'm good with that, So yeah. We're living our best life with a sexy caveman.
There was good interviews. So it was a really good press day. It looked like a fun race to go to and also buy the extra that lets you go to the press day, because they also did a live show. James Stewart and Chad Reed were there. It was just a fun press day. So
yeah, it seemed like the energy was high. I'm sure the weather was great. Like the high was like 72. Like our low in Texas was 76 on this weekend. I was like, I don't even know about that. Like I had friends there that were like, I think I have to go back and get a jacket. I'm like, what's a jacket? I don't know that word. Like, so I'm sure that probably is better. They've been sweating their butts off. Like I'm thinking about, Prado and Mikkel Harup, like all of these like Euros. Like, when people warn them about the heat in the United States, which pretty much everywhere they race, other than maybe the Pacific Northwest, like is no joke. So I bet this was like a nice, like reprieve for them to be like, oh, I'm not
Yeah.
going to die of heat exhaustion today.
Yeah, no, it was a really good weekend of racing.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Cameron Haynes. So he was at one of the Supercross races this year. I remember that. And he was like, I'm a huge Eli fan. I'm like, oh, us too. So that was exciting. And we all know, Eli's a big, bow hunter. I bow hunting is insane to me. Like my dad's a big hunter in general. And like, he does bow hunt. He actually, he set up a bow target in his front yard, like shooting across the street, but down the side yard. I was like, Dad, you have an HOA. Gosh. You're going to get arrested. And he's like, I'm not shooting it when cars are here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So like the bows that they shoot, like the big one, compound bows, like those are no joke. And I don't know, maybe it's just something like deeply ingrained in our like hunting gathering DNA, but like seeing a man with a bow and like there's something hot about that. So I was I'm here for hot.
This. Yeah. MAN, man.
No, really. I'm like, you could go kill something, then I'd have to figure out how to cook it.
And they got it on their first try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, Eli and Garrett are no joke. Like, and then in the press conference, Garrett doubled down on it. He was like, yeah, I'm ready to go hunting on the off weeks. I'm like, get it.
Imagine if Sexy Caveman and Eli go hunting together.
Oh, I would watch the hell out of that. Actually, funny, I messaged Courtney, his girlfriend, who was wearing camo pants. I was like, girl, I see you. I see the fit. It's brilliant. She's like, you got my vibe. But I was like, I would watch the hell out of a Cameron, Eli, Garrett hunting show. Like all day. Probably on mute.
All day.
Because I don't even need to hear what they're saying. But I'd watch it. I'd watch the hell out of that. So whatever crossover, we need to get going for that.
It's unhealthy the amount of times I have watched that video.
Yeah, it was brilliant marketing for sure. I watched Brian Deegan and Cameron did some footage or whatever. And like Cameron's wearing these like shorty shorts, like running shorts.
Yeah.
I'm like, and that's all I can look at. Like this whole video is like him and Brian Deegan talking. And I'm like, I'm just looking at your shorty shorts. So Cameron, you get the thumbs up, the stamp of approval from Moto Moms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Should we talk about Moto Moms? Should we start the hour with Deegan and the Moto Moms? Because
we should.
My Instagram blew up.
I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. And I can't take credit for it. He popped off at a number of Moto Moms. There were, more on TikTok, which also like makes me very grateful that like I don't hang out on TikTok. But I love that he like went through the pits and was like talking to moms and like trying to get them like on his side or whatever. And then like they did this little, they did the bit on him and he was like, I don't care what people say about me and da-da-da. And I was like, oh, funny, but you're out here like starting shit with grown ass women and then making a video about it in the pits, So
right.
I get it. It's part of the marketing machine, but yeah. Did you see the video of him with some of those Moto Moms that he found?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Like, interesting choice. We'll put it that way. But
yeah, exactly.
I love that we live rent free in his head. So I'm like, I'm here for it. If I can be part of, throwing him off his game just so we can have, not just pure Hayden domination. I mean, praise Jesus for Joe show. Like, what do we call Wasabi? Spicy Joe? We're calling Joe Wasabi now.
Good.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. But yeah, no, Joe doesn't need the Moto Moms help. He did it all on his own. So let's talk a little 250 action. So our boy Sexy Caveman was fastest in qualifying. So I was very excited about that.
Yeah, and it was both sessions.
Mm-hmm, and it was by a decent amount. I mean, not like seconds, but like it was no joke. So I was excited about that. I'm just here for anybody that can keep Hayden off his game, truly. So I guess I'm just a fan of anybody.
The rider Deegan,
mm-hmm.
when they crashed into each other,
mm-hmm.
I don't know how Deegan stayed up. Like,
dude, I will give Deegan credit where credit's due. Yep. And if you watch it like from the drone, like you see his back end pop out and he just course corrects and keeps going. Like I'm like,
yeah.
Like I do not wish ill on Hayden like at all. But like in that moment I was like, oh my gosh, like he's screwed. He is going to land. It's going to be game over. Like I don't want him to get hurt. I don't hate the kid. But I was shocked when he brought that back. Like I was like, good on you, Hayden. Good job.
Yeah. I was listening to the Steve Mathis review show and they said that, and Ryder said when he got up, he was looking for Deegan and then he was like, where did he go? And then he realized he didn't crash, and he was like, "How?"
Yeah,
how?
I don't even know. I mean, kudos to him, but yeah, I felt so bad for Ryder D. Like I heard that like the lanes had merged, like that one line had merged like in between the laps that they'd come around. Like Ryder was in the wrong, like whether it was on accident or not. So like I'm not someone who's going to be like it's Hayden's fault every time. One thing I did say that I posted on Instagram, which is hilarious to me because I know that reel is doing well because it looks like it's Hayden and all the little Deeganites think I'm going to hate on him. But no, it was kudos to the flagger. And somebody tagged the flagger, and I'm so thankful. But you see him throw that medic flag so fast. Like, they're in the air, they turn around, red flag. Like, medic flag is in the air. I'm like, good job, flaggers.
Yes.
Because it has not been a good year for flaggers. So we will give credit where credit is due. I was very excited about the flagger. So, yeah, that was gnarly for sure. That track, like, every angle, I'm just like, this is how I picture like people who don't understand moto. Like, I feel like this is what they picture is Washougal. I don't know what it is. Like, maybe it's just like the trees, which is ironic because it's the only one on the circuit really where we're going through the trees. But the uphills, the braking bumps, the finish line whoops, like that angle looking straight down with the finish, iconic.
It is iconic. I love watching that. Yeah,
me too. Other things that happened in 250s. We started off the hour talking about Jalek Swoll. Not a good look for Jalek. He was out. Like, first of all, he was out in one sense, like from the gate. I was like, get it, Jalek. Like, so happy for him. Like, had chills. I'm so happy for the whole Triumph team. We'll get there. I got some Austin Forkner talk. But when he went down, and I mean, it was just all you could see was his boot. Like, he was not moving.
No, I kept staring at the boot like, can you move? Can you move? Can you move? And it was not moving.
Yeah. So I've seen a couple other angles. Like when he got up, I mean, like homeboy was concussed. Like he was night. Like
he went to sleep real quick.
I know. And like, I hate it for him. I mean, I hate it for any rider to have a concussion, but just like he's had all these injuries. He's come back. He's looked great. Triumph is throwing everything at that bike and doing really well. And then for him to have that happen, like, I hope the best for him because I've become like a big Jalek fan in the last couple races, just being like, get it, dude, get it, get after it. So that was not good.
No, that was scary.
Yeah.
Was scary.
Other good news for Triumph is our boy Austin Forkner. I love Austin Forkner. So like his return to glory, like I'm here for it. He went 5.5 for 5th overall, so like earned it straight up, wasn't a mathematical, and he's just like slowly, quietly getting better. And I'm going to throw out a hot take, and you guys can smash me for this, but like, I would not be surprised if we saw him get on the podium at one of the SMX rounds, one or more.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's doing a lot better. I mean, if not SMX, for sure Supercross next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And where do you think they put him? Do you think you put him on West Coast against Deegan?
I don't.
I know.
I don't know if they know.
That's true. That's true.
They're gonna have to flip a coin. They're gonna need to get a quarter and be like, okay, heads or tails.
Yes. I mean, because I wouldn't want to go. I mean, in one sense, like you do, if you believe in yourself, like you want to go against Deegan because he's the best. You know, you want to prove yourself. The other side of it is like, okay, well, if I go to the other coast, you know, I pretty much got a shoe-in for the title. You know, I should say shoe-in. There's contenders, but. Yeah, that'd be a tough one, but we've been robbed of a healthy Forkner. Like I was at A1 when Forkner went down on the start. I was at Arlington when he hit the concrete. Like I am the bad luck charm. Like, so I'm here for it.
I remember DB said years ago on Main Event Moto that he has Austin Forkner has a voodoo doll out for him.
Yeah, no, really.
And I think it got put away finally. I think it like caught on fire and burned down because he's doing a lot better.
I really hope so. Because, I mean, he has been through it. I mean, he had his face peeled off and had brain surgery. And then somehow in the middle of that, he knocks up Riley. Like, I want to know that timeline.
As a baby. Yeah. No, I was so proud to see him go 5.5. That was a highlight of the weekend for sure.
Me too. And like, good on Triumph. Like, I mean, I feel like anytime like a new manufacturer comes in, it's been a minute, but like the bar is so low, but like they have knocked it out of the park. Like, between him and Mikkel and Jordan, like I'm just so here for it. So it's a good look for sure. Mm-hmm. Let's see other things in the 250s. So let's talk a little bit about Joe. I'm here for Wasabi Jo, and let me tell you, I listened to an interview. I think it was with 23 Media. I can't remember, but it was on press day. And they asked him about like Hayden getting in people's heads, cause like that's what Hayden does. Like he plays the mind games. And Joe like basically laughed at it and was just like, no, like I'm here to race. I'm here to win. I don't really care about this other stuff. Basically like giving Deegan the brush off. So I'm like, are we gonna get mind games? Are we gonna get mind games from Deegan? Cause they saw it. Like they see everything. So I'm here for Spicy Joe and for Joe giving no F's about Hayden and just like being in his own lane.
Yeah, he's like a silent assassin.
Yep. And I love it, honestly. Like I
Those
feel
are
like
the best types of people.
Yeah. And his stock was so low at the beginning of the year. Like he's always been one of those people that's like, okay, this is his year. And he'll come on at the end. But the fact that like he is this strong right now and we've got 3 races to go in 2 weeks and 3 more races. But I mean, the Yamahas don't look great right now. Like if Hayden has mechanical, like Joe is still very much in this. Like it takes is one mechanical.
Point. Oh yeah, it could be the littlest thing too.
Yeah, can you imagine though? Oh my gosh, the momentum swing. Oh my gosh, goodness gracious. So I was just happy that Hayden didn't win the overall. Like I'll say that, and I'm not saying that as anything personal to Hayden. I just I want it to be a fair battle, and like Hayden is dominating it. So between Hayden going down, the Moto Mom stuff, the bit about I don't care what people say, and I was like, do you really not? Because you don't look like it, but. The interesting thing I did notice is since he did the leg thing, which also he doesn't say fascia. I'm like, can you not say that word? Can you not say fascia? Like he's like the muscle, the things on my legs. Like he kind of like stumbles over it. But until this weekend, unless I missed it, and given I don't watch the Deegan's YouTube, not on principle. It's just like I'm not the target demo. It's not about Moto. It's about them. He does not explicitly say like I haven't been motoing down. Like I know that they did a little bit, like Star showed they were doing motos when it was raining or whatever, but like he on the podium was like, yeah, I just haven't been motoing down. I haven't basically ridden since I did that at Redbud. So I'm like, interesting that you've gone
interesting.
Yeah, 3 races now. And did well since he's damaged this fascia, but that he was very explicit today and making sure we knew how little he had been training. So I'm like, don't love that, but also interesting data.
Yeah. Did you see that tweet of Jason Wygett and like Jason was flying coach and he had nowhere to put his blazer and Hayden was in first class and Hayden let him hang his blazer in the closet. So I thought
nice
that
was sweet of him. He had to go first class instead of on his PJ this week.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder what that's about. I wonder like when they say like, oh, it's worth the private jet, because I feel like going to Washougal from Tallahassee, like that's like a 6-hour flight.
I was just thinking that like that would be the time to use the PJ.
Yeah, but I guess it was just. I mean, we saw Brian. Was Marisa there? I'm like I don't really pay attention to the rest of them. That's terrible. No. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe at that point it's just not worth it. Like you're like, okay, this is, whatever. We fly first class. Okay. Rough life.
Yeah. Rough life.
Oh goodness. Well, I'm just excited that we have like an actual battle going on. I know that it's a long stretch, but like we said, the Yamahas do not look great. A mechanical DNF is not the craziest thing, No,
it's not.
And I don't wish that upon anyone. Like, I don't want that to be the deciding factor. I want it to come down to like bar to bar true skills, but crazier things have happened for sure.
Yes,
let's see. Let's talk some forfeities. I mean, if you had bet on Hayden Deegan not winning the overall and Jet not winning the overall, like you should buy a lottery ticket because like what were the odds that we didn't get those?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I know. That shocked me. Like when I obviously I was watching it in real time and I'm like, oh cool, like Joe won and oh cool, Chase won. And then I was like, oh, neither of our title contenders won. Like this is good. This is good momentum. This is good parity. Jet did go down. So I'll give it that. Jet did have a weird little, get off. But how'd you feel about 450s like overall? Because there was a lot going on.
Oh, I loved it. I was so nervous for Eli. As soon as I saw qualifying, I was like, oh, he's fine. Like, people are being dramatic. We overthought this all week. I dissected all of his interviews on press day. And for a second, I was like, oh my gosh, like, he doesn't believe in himself. Like, we might not see much better tomorrow, but it was kind of depending who he was with and talking to. where his tone was a little different. But as soon as I saw qualifying, I was like, oh, he's fine. I was like, if he gets a start, he'll be up there. He admitted the starting blocks look ridiculous. So
I love that.
That was funny. And yeah, a 2-3. Like, that's all we can ask for.
I think so too. Like, it kills me to say that because he's such a freak. And like, even at his age, which Chase on the podium, like dance. No, was it on the podium? Chase did an interview, which he was trying to be respectful. He wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but he was dancing around, like calling Eli old. He was like, yeah, I mean, because like being of that age and being in your third, like he kept like not trying to say the word old. And I was like, dude, you can call him an old bull. Like call him that. It makes it that more badass. But I'm starting to lean more and more towards like we're only going to see beast mode. It's gonna go longer between stretches, you know, like he's gonna turn it up when he feels comfortable. I think the last couple of weeks have been a really, really uncomfortable Eli. And even he said, you know, he went down to Tallahassee, he did some testing at the Star compound, but then said he went backwards, which I love. I love a man who takes accountability and doesn't blame it on the bike, doesn't blame it on the team. Like I'm here for that. Not that I would expect anything less from Eli, but I'm really kind of settling into the fact that like things have to go perfect and we got to see beast mode and he's got to be comfortable for him to get third. How does that sit?
I mean, I don't know. He got second.
Yeah, true. But Jet went down. And that's part of the perfect part,
always,
you know?
Yeah. That little stuff, those little things are always going to add up, you know, like Chase can get a terrible start at the next race. And then, you know, I just feel like we have to look at what's on paper and not look like what happened, you know? But we're just glad that he seemed happy. The family was happy. He was in the same zip code as them. He didn't get dropped 30 seconds.
True.
So I think we just got to believe that Eli is in the word believe and we have to believe.
I like that. Look at that. Eli can't spell believe without Eli. I'm so here for that. I want to put that on a shirt.
We have to be positive here, okay? Because we got to soak this up. Because when he retires, it's going to be different.
Yeah.
And it's going to be so sad.
Sure.
So I just try to look at it as like he knows, you know, the next talent is right there. And if he can keep up with them, then I think that's good.
Yep. Yeah, and he seems to enjoy it. Like when he's comfortable, like he looks like, you know, in all of his interviews and things like that, like post race, like he seems to be like there. Those couple of weeks where he was really struggling, like he did not want to be there. Like, and I don't blame him. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I guess him, Chase, and Jet were talking like 10 minutes before the presser, just hanging out.
Yeah. They cut off most of it.
Yeah, he laughed about Chase talking about Coldplay.
Yeah, that was funny.
If Eli's in a good mood, I'm in a good mood.
No, really. Yeah. I love the Coldplay comment from Chase. I was like, oh, look at you, Chase, and the cultural zeitgeist, you know? Like, I'm just waiting for, you know, I'm waiting for the meme with Chase, you know, well, Supercross Voices did, Chase with the Cowie logo, you know, but I want Chase to be on the Jumbotron at the Coldplay concert in a Cowie hat. Like that would
did you see the one with Chase and Chase's head and Lewis Phillips' head?
Yes. Yeah, I think I shared it. And like the neck is so well photoshopped, like it's freaky. Like
so
I love
funny.
that. So, oh my gosh, shout out to whatever meme lord that was, because that one was good for sure. But
brilliant.
I'm so here for it. Did you catch Eli's comment in the post-race conference about the rock hitting him in the collarbone? I posted about this.
Yes, that was so like what?
Interesting, because he is not someone to complain. He's not someone to talk about injuries. So the fact that he's talking about getting hit by a rock like minutes after it happened, I wouldn't be surprised if his collarbone is obliterated and he's just like, yeah, whatever. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's just dust in there now. Oh. Like it actually is just shattered because Eli's that badass.
Oh, really? I didn't take it that way. I took it as like, oh, it must be fine if he's talking about it.
See, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think like whatever normal person's level of fine is, and then Eli's like, we're not in the same ballpark, you know?
Right.
So
yeah, he rode with a broken leg.
That's what I'm saying.
And tore his Achilles and rode himself to the medic. So yeah.
Yeah, like he's a freak. So hopefully there's nothing going on with the collarbone. Like, good Lord, between between Tate's collarbone getting broken at club, my husband Tim had a broken collarbone. Like I hate them. They're so delicate. They take literally nothing to break. Like they're broken.
No,
so
I think
we hope he's okay.
it's fine. I think he's fine. Yeah,
I think so
and
too.
then Kathy, we heard a normal conversation between John, Kathy, and Eli on her post.
I know, I
like
love
just
it.
talking about the people coming in and saying like, "Wow, they pay $20 to come in here." Like I'm like, that's as close as we'll get from hearing those three just have a normal conversation.
Yep. I love that Kathy and John still go to all the races like they do, and like how like healthy everything seems. You know, I was talking to somebody today just about like the dad dynamic of certain riders.
Yeah.
We won't go there, but like dads who have a bad rap right now. And I'm just like, you know, if you can make it all the way through your career and at that level, especially like Eli, like what he's done and the team changes and everything like that, and like you still want your parents there, like that's incredible. Because, you know, even thinking about raising my little kids, I'm like, I want you to come home and want to hang out with me. You know, I want you to move out, but I want you to want to hang out with me in 20 years, you know?
Yeah, that's successful parenting is when they still want to come hang out with you.
I think so too. Yeah. So between that and chasing bulls and maybe selling donkeys, like Eli's going to have a full 2 weeks off.
Yeah, he said he's going to chase cows.
I love that. Oh my gosh. So we're here for Eli going 2-3 for 3 overall. Let's talk a little Chase Sexton. So Chase went 1-2 for number 1 overall. He looked good. He looked real good.
He did.
Like,
he did.
I shouldn't be shocked, but I am. And everybody keeps saying, oh, he came back from injury. It's like, can we not? Can we all just say what we all know, that it wasn't an injury, that he needed a break, like straight up. I saw something the other day that said the only 2 riders left who have raced every round since Anaheim are Jay Coop and Malcolm, which I'm like, that's incredible, but also really, really sad that we've made it this far and there's 2 riders who've made it.
They need to look at that. But that's another rabbit hole to go down.
So let's call Chase's injury not injury. Homeboy looked great. He dialed it back on that second moto when he could have gone for number 1. And there was a point where like they're coming down the finish line, the whoops at the finish line. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to go for it. And he's going to tuck the front. It's going to just add it to the list and tuck the front. And he didn't. And he backed it down and he took the second and he took the overall. And then he said it at the press conference. And my jaw was on the floor, girl. Like,
yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, which is kind of sad that we have that reaction, but like, he does not take accountability, which is not cute. Like, it's not a good look. Poor Jade Dungy just working his ass off on that bike. And, you know, like, what else do you have to fix?
Well, I was listening to the review show with Steve Mathis, and I guess when they're practicing during the week, Chase has a setting he likes for the morning, and then they have to change the setting that he likes when it gets to the afternoon.
What? Like because of temperatures?
Yes, into the dryness, and it's wet in the morning, that they have to change his bike midday.
Huh. So what? So does he do that at the outdoors too? You know, because like those are like an hour apart. I mean, I feel like the temperatures aren't going to be that different at that point, but that's a lot of work.
I would maybe go listen. Maybe I don't have all the correct information, but they said that they do bike changes between the morning and to the afternoon.
That's insane. Like that's so much work. So good on them. Good on them. Cause he looked good. He looked real good. Yeah, so I'm here for it. Like I said, the same thing with Joshua and Hayden. Like I'm here for a battle. So it's a long shot for anybody to touch Jet. You know, we thought maybe Hunter would be it. Hunter went, what did he go? 5-4? Yeah, 5-4 for 4th overall. He's still there, but unless something like majorly happens with Jet, like he's got it on lock. So was excited about Chase winning and then taking out accountability and saying he knew that at Arlington he pushed it and gave it away. And then I honestly, like, I think that was the start of his demise in Supercross was Arlington. That's when the mind games got to him, where it was just like, he couldn't turn it off, you know, and then Cooper just daddied him to the end, you know?
Yeah, basically.
So I'm like, all right. We also, speaking of Chase, this is a little brap yappy, but we'll say here, Chase has a new lady friend, and
I cannot wait to hear about this.
Her name is Evie, E-V-I-E. And Instagram hides nothing. So like if you think that you're being like secretive on Instagram, you're not. So he's like liking all these girls. There was another monster girl that she's not a monster girl. She's a musician, which we're coming back to that. But there was a monster girl that he was like liking all her stuff, and I was seeing it, and I was like, we'll see. And so that didn't materialize. Maybe it did. I don't know. But he said girlfriend this weekend. Like he's in an interview. He said, I'm going to hang out with my girlfriend over the break. And so me and a couple of the Romies were like, we're scouring. And then had somebody who would know, someone in the industry, we shall say, confirm it. And so I was like, hell yeah, I'm posting the shit out of this.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go look her up after this.
Yeah. So she's a country music singer. And as we also know, Jet is dating Dylan, who is also a country music singer. So I'm like, is there some connection there? You get yourself a country girl and you start winning? Because I'm here for that conspiracy theory. Like,
or like, do they know each other?
I don't know that they know each other. I like when I added her on Instagram, all of the connections are the family Steve Astafen's management company. So I can only assume that like she is one of his talents or the family's talents. I'm doing air quotes because it's the family spelled Famile. Yeah, an E on the end. But she cute. She real cute, and she can sing. And yeah, so I'm like, I'm here for it. You know, I just. You know, he's a difficult one to deal with on the moto side. I'd be very curious to know what he's like as a boyfriend.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I've heard he's very particular, like borderline obsessive compulsive, which your girl is hardcore obsessive compulsive. So I'm like, oh, birds of a feather. But, you know, as a professional athlete, OCD, like that seems like a deadly combination. So we'll keep an eye on it. Not quite ready to drop her name on Instagram. We'll see how it goes. But if you're a Romy and you're listening, her name is Evie, Evie. And I think her Instagram is Evie XOXO or something like that. So you heard it here first. Let's see. Other things in the 450s. We got to talk Prado. Like, I'm tired of talking Prado, but like, what the flip? Like, what?
I heard. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Well, I also heard in the Steve Mathis Review podcast, you get a lot of information there, that between the two races he did for Supercross and now all of motocross, they have changed the forks 74 times.
That cannot be an actual number. No way.
It was 70. Oh, yeah. They said it was his riding number 70 times.
Oh, my gosh.
The mechanic told him, Steve, that.
Listen. So we know that Chad Reed rode his bike because they're a club. We know that Chad took a couple laps on the Cowie. And even Chad said it was underpowered. Like, it wasn't great. But also, like, at what point do you take some accountability? Apparently, this is the accountability episode. Do you take some accountability? Because his interviews, honestly, like, there's a difference between his interviews and, like, just the negativity and, like, F1, where they're like, we just weren't there. The car wasn't fast enough, whatever. Like, I feel like, you know, and F1 can get mean. I mean, they can be like, car was shit, you know, Max Verstappen, hello. But the Prado interviews are so like aggressively negative about the bike. And like our boy Tutu on Made of Moto was talking about it. Like, he's a mechanic at Pro Circuit. Like, I just can't imagine that being your star rider on a 3-year contract coming from Europe, how that affects team morale, because he's not there. He's at club. He's on the other side of the country. And every single interview, he's just like ripping Cowie a new one. So I'm like, what do you do with that? You've given him 74 options on forks and he's still going backwards. Like, at that point, like, it's on you, dude. I don't know. Am I being too harsh?
No, he gets good starts and then he fades.
Yeah. It's beyond bizarre to me. And, you know, like you said, he gets the whole shot and then it's like, he's nowhere to be found because he's dropping. So I'm like looking at lap times and I'm like, he's going backwards. Like, he's dropping anchor. I don't get it. I don't understand it. We've talked about it until we're blue in the face here. Like, I'm sure it's a lot of life change. I'm sure, you know, he moved from California to club because it's more his speed. Now that I've been there, I'm like, the difference between like Southern California and club, like, I get it. They're two different planets. But 2 more years of this, 2 more years. And I don't feel like he's going to magically figure it out in the off season. I mean, maybe he is, maybe he just bunkers down and him and Chad just moto it out at club, and Chad's just like, shut up, we're going to figure this out. Like, I don't know.
Like
I hope that happens.
Like, is Chase gonna help?
Well, here's the thing I have about Chase. Like, here's my thoughts. Chase did not like sharing the limelight at Honda with the Lawrences. So, like, what's Chase going to be like if Prado magically figures this out and it's a stretch? Prado is beating Chase at Cowie. Like, how's he going to handle that?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't think Prado will touch Chase in Supercross.
No, I don't think so either. But,
yeah, but I heard that maybe they don't get along that well or something.
I feel like Chase doesn't get along with a lot of people.
Except Lewis.
Except Lewis. Oh my gosh, I'm so here for it. And Michael Lindsay was like giving him crap for it. Yes, I love that. He. I mean, how do you not love Eli? But you know, even Jet, like, you know, I think Jet is like enamored by him. Like, you know, I think that Jet gets it. I think Jet understands the level of respect. So,
yeah.
But I cannot imagine a world where like Prado takes off like skill wise and Chase has to play second fiddle to that. Like even if Prado is just like battling him, like let's say Prado is like, you know, a third place guy at best, like Chase is going to have to go through him. Like arguably until this weekend, I would have said Chase was a better chaser, no pun intended, than leader. Like he's able to charge through the pack. So like if Prado's up there and he's got to battle Prado and Jet and Hunter, like we're going to have Honda all over again, you know? Like he's not necessarily the obvious top dog. So Cowie's looking real interesting next year. That's all I gotta say about that. So I don't know. Maybe I need to go buy some Cowie merch in like solidarity. So, speaking of merch, I got a J Mart shirt.
So did I.
Yeah. Did you see? I got a confirmation email, and it says your site name here. Like he doesn't even have his like whatever Squarespace or whoever he's doing it through. It's like your site name here. Purchase has been confirmed. And I'm like, homie, can I help you with your website? Like, can I just put Jeremy Martin's website, like at the very least? So that cracked me up. But yeah, I was like, okay, cool, $35. I'll get one for me and Tim. And then it tacked on like $15 in shipping. And I was like, never mind. Tim's not getting a shirt, just me.
Oh, that's so funny.
So I thought that was really funny. But
yeah, it's a cool shirt.
It is a cool shirt. It's really cute. I'm so here for good merch. So I bought a couple shirts from Dark Side, Jamie Guida. So, you know, rolling off of Vital and launching Moto X Pod kind of again. So wanted to support that and got those in. So I feel like it was just like living in merch world. You know, which I'm a sucker for good merch. We've talked about this. So Real Housewives of Moto merch is coming. I'm trademarking Real Housewives of Moto as we speak. It's a whole thing. But we're going to have merch. I'm going to get there. I promise. I'm looking into options for suites for next year. Obviously, like Dallas would be my preference because I can drive to Arlington. But I just think a whole suite full of like Romies, like full of women. And I mean, you can bring your husbands, but like a whole suite full of women that like get our humor and like talk about the weird things that we talk about. Like how fun would that be? So that's coming. There's a
blast.
It was so fun. Like when we did it the first time and I felt like I was a chicken running around with its head cut off. Like Katie was there, but you probably saw me for like 10 seconds. I was just all over the place, you know, going to get little baby Evan. Oh, and did I tell you on the club episode, I got to see Evan? Like I saw him from a distance. We didn't get to hang, but he's so tall. Like, I'm like, get out of here, dude. Like, I feel like he's like collectively like Made of It Moto's child, you know, cause we're so invested in him, but he's so tall. Gosh, I'm not ready for like little boys that I care about to grow up. And Evan is there. And I'm like, damn it, Evan. But yeah, good kid and like good bike skills. Like he looked good on a bike. I was like, good job, dude.
Oh, nice. Man, it was just so neat, Moto 2, to see all four like top guys.
Mm-hmm. This is what we've been waiting for.
We've been waiting for it forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and RJ and Jacob and Justin Barsha, like all of them floating around. Like, I mean, we've got good racing right now. Like, I know we want an Eli win. I would have loved an AP win. Obviously, not going to get that. So the only one I'm hanging on to right now that I think my heart wants, like emotionally, is a Jacob win. Like Jacob has just, like I said, he's one of two that has done every moto this year. So I want him to get one, straight up. And like he's got the speed. Like what was his overall? Hold on. So he went 6.5 for 6th overall, but he's always like top 3 in qualifying. So like he's got the sprint speed, he can hang, he's got the fitness, but I'm like, Jacob, you're gonna get one. Hang on.
And RJ's doing really well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think RJ is incredible. I think that he's not getting the not respect, but like we need to be talking about him more, you know? Like,
yeah. He's like almost to that top pack. I mean, the top pack left all of them this weekend. Like they were gone. But he's there.
Yeah. And
It's
that
close.
wrist, like he hurt that wrist like in the Supercross season. Like this wrist has been bothering him for like a long time. And he said like his own words was like, I kept getting thrown back into the championship hunt, which I love. I love that he was like, I just want to coast this in because my wrist hurts. And so he's like, I kept getting thrown into the hunt. But then like very transparently, which I also love transparency, said, I'm going to go get the surgery. I'm going to go have wrist surgery and then come back. And then came back and did this. Like, I'm like, homie, like what?
Yes, so, very impressive. Yep.
Very impressed with Rick James. Very, very impressed. So that is cherry on top of Washougal. A couple other things I wanted to highlight. I want to do, and maybe we'll do a series like on Instagram. I'll make some graphics, but I want to talk about specifically a different moto wife or girlfriend or mom or whatever, or team member or support person or whatever each week. And I felt like it was only fitting this week, being that I just met her for the first time and that this is episode 22, that we talk about Ellie Reed. So,
I would love that.
I think we should chat about Miss Ellie Reed here. I remember following her because my very first memory of Ellie was like her on the track, either in between motos, like Supercross, or after qualifying, and her like literally breaking down lines and being like, hey, you were going, yeah, and you need to go, yeah. And I'm like, this woman gets it. Like, she gets it. And so then, you know, at that point, she'd had Tate. So Tate was there, and she was pregnant with Kaya. Or I remember her being pregnant with Kaya, so like years later. And I remember like following when she was pregnant with Pace, and like we joked about it on the last episode that I was like in Home Depot when she went into labor with Kaya. It's like burned into my brain. But then like after I met her this weekend, I was like, she's just a mom. You know, she's a mom who's married to one of the best to ever do it. And even just seeing her kind of, you know, in crisis mode. I'm saying crisis with the air quotes, with, you know, cleaning out Landry Turner's boo-boos. She was just so calm and like fun. And I mean, I know that like women in the sport, especially ones who are as vocal as Ellie, like they get a bad rap sometimes. Like I think that especially like not strong men, we'll put it this way, I think are very intimidated by vocal women, especially ones that like understand dirt bikes. There's a metaphor in here somewhere. So I think that Ellie has like, you know, she's ruffled a lot of feathers, but like at the end of the day, like she's married to Chad Reed. She, you know, they've been together since they were like infants. They've traveled literally the globe together. I mean, they left when she was like 18, like as soon as she was 18, maybe younger, to go back and look. So I think it's just like incredible that one, she's, you know, as like passionate and involved as she still is. So I think that's okay. Here's my pitch for like why you need to follow Ellie Reed. She's still in it. Like she's still in the thick of it. Chad is retired. They've done the, you know, the 2-2 motorsports thing, which I mean, that in and of itself, like I cannot imagine how taxing that was on their marriage. Like, they've done the motorhome thing. They're at club now, but like the fact that she's still in it and still loves it. And now she has, you know, 3 kids of her own that she's, you know, bringing to races and training and Like I'm so impressed by Ellie. So that's my Ellie spiel. Have you ever interacted, or, you know, what's your earliest memory of Ellie, I guess?
Oh my gosh, probably like 6th, 7th grade when I started having a crush on Chad Reed, and I was just curious who he was married to. And I'm like, oh, of course she's beautiful and perfect. And then, I mean, back then there wasn't social media to really follow them, but she was, when I got an Instagram in like 2012, like she was one of the first people I followed. And she's just, remember she started that podcast too, like
was it Just Keep
ago.
Talking?
And did a few
I'm still
episodes.
Subscribed to it. Hold on.
Me too. And I
like,
listened to everyone, and it's just been fun to kind of see her. She just has a gift. Like, she's a rare breed. You know, she is so loyal to her family, and she gives parenting advice and, you know, being in the sport advice. And she's just like a gal's gal. Yeah. I mean, I would love to meet her. I'd be super intimidated, but I was. No, she's just, I was. She just seems witty and fierce and loyal and stunning and kind at the same time and respectful. She's the OG moto wife. Like, she's the first one where I was like, who's this cute guy married to? Like, I remember
this cute
that
girl
in my head.
Dang it. And they made beautiful children. I'm like, all 3 of them are like beautiful, you know?
Yeah, I remember Tate's photos of like him being in Chad Reed's boots and the helmet.
The helmet pick. Yep.
Yeah, and I remember her being pregnant with Kaya, and then they had Pace. Like, we've watched them all grow up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
through
one.
social media.
I watch every episode of Tutu TV. So I'm like, that I am the target demo for that, I guess. But yeah, we love ourselves some Ellie Reed around here because, you know, we're strong women, strong moms who love moto. So solidarity.
Yeah.
Let's see some other things around moto. Pay Dirt. You put this on our list. Did you watch Pay Dirt?
I did. I watched. It's the worst title.
Even saying it feels weird. I feel like I'm having a seizure.
It doesn't roll off the tongue well. Yeah, Derek and I watched it Friday night. We bought it on Amazon, and I liked it. Of course, I mean, it was a movie about Supercross and motocross. You know, I thought it was a little tacky at times, a little cringe. It kept going back and forth. I know they filmed it so long ago and it just came out, but it was like weird seeing Eli constantly on the Cowie. I just feel like it wasn't updated. Cooper Webb was the cover of it on a Yamaha, but I think I saw him for 1 second on a KTM.
Yeah.
I hate those little like forensic file scenes where they're like walking into the hospital or.
Oh, I know. They were the hospital one that's the one that I thought of. I was like, this is cheap B-roll. Like this is like they went on iStock and they were like, B-roll? I need like they bought it off some
Forensic Files when they like reenact.
Yep. No, that one scene. It was just like, it was so like jarringly different. Like it was obvious. Like it just didn't fit. So like some of the editing, I feel you on.
And they went a lot in detail about, you know, the Emig days and McGrath and like the history. And I'm like, but this is modernized, you know, like they didn't talk about Jet really. They didn't talk about Eli. I just felt like there was a lot they could have added.
Yeah.
It was like, my dad's going to love it because it's all of his generation, you know? And then they kind of squeezed in our generation.
I'll be honest, like we fell asleep. Like we rented it on Friday. I was so excited and like we fell asleep and I woke up and it was like on the home screen again. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's so funny. I thought the same thing about the hospital scene. Like it was obvious, just crappy mid-grade stock photos or stock video that they bought. The changing of the riders and like the footage that they used was so confusing. At one point I saw 18 and I was like, oh, we're going to talk about Jet. No, it's Davey Millsaps. And we know I love Davey Millsaps, but it was a KTM. So that's how I knew it was Davey. And I'm like, how old is that footage? Like 2016? Like I'd have to go back.
Yeah,
but I'm like,
it was old.
Of all numbers though, like if you are following moto, like you know that like 18 is dominating right now. So like it's not even Jet. Like it is the most dominant rider of our era, modern era, is Jet. He's 18 and it's on a KTM. And so what I was most excited about is that I was like, oh my gosh, like I could send this to my friends if they wanted to pay for it. You know, I could have my friends over and I could subject them. I could force them to watch it. And it would explain Supercross. So I'm like, I like that. I like that it explains kind of like where the sport came from. But I'm with you, like, you know, there's so much going on post RC that I feel like they left off the table that I'm like, are we gonna get a part 2? Like
yeah, and I was kind of confused about the guy in jail.
Yeah, there's a whole lot there that I was like,
it wasn't clear. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think my excitement for it would probably elevate my score. And like I said, I do need to go finish it because we fell asleep. But that should tell you right there. Like, I love dirt bikes and I fell asleep. And it wasn't that late. So I can't even blame it on my old self. So do I think it was worth whatever, the $9.99 I paid for it? Sure. I like that Josh Brolin was the narrator. I think his voice is iconic. I mean, I think that's cool that he voiced it. But I think that there's stuff left on the table for sure. So, you know, it's not the worst thing.
Yeah.
But definitely not the best thing either.
They could have did a much better job.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for Around the Sport. We've got 2 weeks coming up because the whole industry basically goes to, where is it? Pigeon Forge? Is it Pigeon Forge? Is that where Loretta's is? They go to Loretta Lynn's. Yeah.
Yeah, there's another name for it. Now it's going to bother me.
Hold on. I think it's Pigeon Forge. Hold on. Loretta Lynn's. I've driven by it in Tennessee. Hurricane Mills.
Hurricane. I knew
Mills.
it started with an H.
Where is Pigeon Forge? Where did I get that? Pigeon Forge is in Tennessee. I don't know what that was. Same state, whatever. I don't know what moto tie it is. But I put up a graphic on Real Housewives of Moto Instagram for people to share, like if they had like their rider or if they were racing or if they knew somebody. So got a whole bunch of those, and I'm very excited about. So like every year, there's a few people that like I'm watching, like DB when he was at KTM, like we had a whole bunch of kids we were watching there. So very excited about Loretta's this year. Lachlan, Lala Turner, is racing 2 different classes, 1 women's and 1 men's, which I think is the 250. I have to go back. Don't quote me on that. So I'm very excited about Loretta's. This is a new development. I've only cared about Loretta's really because of the people that Daniel has told us to care about. So having personal connections from Romy's and Lachlan, like I'm very excited about Loretta's. So the whole sport basically is on pause for Loretta's. We hope everybody has a safe and lovely and productive trip to Loretta's. I know that there's a lot of money on the line there. People have, double mortgaged their homes and bought motorhomes and parts and all the things. So very excited about Loretta's. Maybe we'll do a watch with me during a few of them. So we'll see about that. But
that would be fun.
Yeah. So big amateur race. And then we'll be back for the final 3, which also means the final 3 rounds of WMX. So speaking of Lala, we'll have the girls back, and I'm very excited about that.
Yay.
And speaking of girls, I'll tease this here. If you've made it this far into the episode, there's a fairly famous female rider who I'm chatting with about coming on the pod, and so I'm very excited about that. So we are on. If Big Lou is the captain of the Sexton ship, we are the captain of the WMX ship. So we're here for the ladies. We are Team Ovaries. Yeah, and we will somehow survive 2 weeks off. Maybe we'll have a Loretta's pod, maybe not. Maybe we'll just have things that Katie and Aly are seeing around Moto Pod. But we'll be back. We'll be back in your ears before you know it.
Yep.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.